After long hiatus of TKP, the creative process, I have come back in the year end of 2025 to make a fresh start with
the great Ekta Singh. Not Kapoor. Not Kapoor.
Ekta Singh.
Ekta Singh, my very good friend and a great social gatherer.
Thank you.
So she has been one of my favorite people since I ever met her. She does something very important and needed in today's world. In my eyes, she brings together and weaves experiences for the world. When I think of my work through TKP, I cannot speak enough of Ekta. She is the living example of the creative process, like living the process through her work. Let's talk to her and find out more about her journey.
I agree with you that my work is a creative process, and I fully resonate with how you brought it up. I'm a computer science engineer.
Computer science engineer. How did that happen from art and to art?
So I'm grateful for doing engineering, but then I ended up being in a corporate for a year and a half, which really put an end to my choice of engineering. I'm like, I can't do this. I worked for the corporate for a year and a half, and I quit, and I was clueless about what to do in my life. I was also, I think, going through a lot because it was very difficult, the work I was doing, and somehow I came back to Bangalore. I was away from Bangalore for a while. I came back and I didn't know what to do with my life, basically. I needed to restart my life in some way, and I had no idea what I wanted, I'm in my early 20s and I'm clueless and all of that. And then I have done a lot in my past. I've actually scored well, did well in my education, but then here I was clueless. And I did not know what to do, seriously. I spent a year and a half not knowing what to do and being sad and disappointed, angry, all of that. And I let myself be. I found myself painting, trying to recover from the whole thing that had happened for 5 years in my life. And I said, we have to do something. We can't keep sitting at home or being sad or even being clueless. So I thought, let me start.
Since we're talking about communities, how important is community to living, and why is it important for artists and audiences?
For living itself? Because I've done so many community events for so many years. One thing that stands out for me, not just for society, but even for artists, everybody who is involved in society, is that community creates a space for empathy. Like when you meet other people, you understand that you're not alone in a journey. Plus, you will find a way to be offering an understanding for that moment, just to be together, right? So that activity of coming together and developing that empathy is so critical, because if we don't do that, we are going to crumble.
Yeah.
I think it is no more a luxury, it's the need of the hour, I would say. People say a lot under community, they don't know what community actually is. It actually is an effort of consistency and creating safe spaces consistently. That is what translates to a community. We can't expect doing one event and calling it a community event. Community is much deeper.
You're saying your space is different because you create safe spaces,
yes,
right?
It means that I've learned this over time, that what I'm creating is feeling safe for others, because there is the way I understand how it's safe is because there are people repeatedly coming to it. That means there is something they're finding comfortable about this space. I'm not saying that my work is different. I'm just saying that I've been consistent at it. And why there is a more, because I'm doing so many things, as you know, I'm doing a poetry, I'm doing music, I'm doing a science, I'm doing a conversation. So I believe all of these aspects influence each other. So now, and I also believe we are people of multiple interests. we all are. My first gathering was a poetry event. It was a tribute to Tagore. And the intention was we bring all Tagore's lovers together and read one of their favorite Tagore poems. Some of them actually read in Bengali also.
How important is community to living, and why is it important for artists and audiences alike?
Right. My curations are just not for artists, just to, bring that out. Because I curate for, everybody, even non-artists and people generally, like meetups and stuff like that. I believe that it's important because community creates the feeling of empathy. You are able to develop that skill, I would say it's a skill, and you develop it when you're with each other in different capacities. It could be a smaller gathering, it could be a larger gathering. So when you are experiencing that, and I think everybody, like you also, when you go and meet people, in a large community, you're like, first of all, if you're not a social person, you'll be like, why am I here? Right?
Yeah.
But then if you're a social person, you know what it brings to you. It brings a certain energy. The energy of community is co-created with people. And I feel like when we come together, we co-create a special energy, which we can't buy ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's just enough sometimes that you come together and just be a part of it. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And you can get the benefits of that.
Yeah.
Right? So that is one way of viewing how community is helpful for us as humans, as as artists and as audience. The other is when you interact with these small groups, large groups, or even watch a performance. In some way, I'm not a psychologist, but I would like to use the word, we regulate ourselves emotionally, in some way, right? Because we are experiencing different things, we are absorbing, we are doing that. We would not be able to do this when we are by ourselves.
What did engineering teach you?
Not to choose engineering for the rest of the life, or the field. It definitely taught me to work very hard, because I definitely worked very hard, even though I was not very good at performing, in those subjects. But it made me slog a little bit. Because it's not easy to get through those subjects. They are really difficult for someone. It was very hard for me to push, a very logical, analytical brain.
Means you don't have a logical and analytical brain?
I would like to believe I have, but I feel like it's tended to little more, abstract thinking, or thinking from the heart, or thinking not from the brain always. Less of brain and more of heart and soul is involved in this work. So it also taught me how to make friends. I was a very introverted child, so the third year I started for the first time having friends in life.
What does spirituality, are you spiritual at all?
Yes, I'd like to believe I'm spiritual, yeah.
What does it mean to you?
It means a lot to me, actually. I feel like I navigate my life, and my work and my life also feels like a spiritual experience, I would say, because, the kind of joy, that untellable joy, that you get from a spiritual experience, I sometimes get from my work. Sometimes you're in a journey not knowing where it's going, right? That's exactly when you should start believing that there's something other than you that's at play. And when that happens, and when you're bringing your faith again and again back into the universe, you're aligning spiritually, I feel. So I believe that my work and my life teaches me to do that.
How to have faith?
That's a very good point. But, you have faith not in the good, but in the process. That's what spirituality means, according to me. I know it's very hard to believe, in God, or not in goodness, when you see so much crime and so much hate and so much abuse on animals and plants and planet and humans. People.
So we'll come to rapid fire then. If not events and experiences, what would you be?
A scientist? Maybe an astrophysicist or a physicist, or something like deep science, or a researcher.
I can already imagine you. Please wear that spectacles. Yes, doesn't she look like a researcher?
Yeah.
Do you believe you're the embodiment of your name?
Actually, I do. I've started to believe it. Yeah. Yes. I did not believe it earlier, but as my journey into my work is unfolding, I believe my name has something to do with it also.
Ekta,
Ekta. Yeah.
what is your favorite time of the year?
I like Octobers a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Winters?
No, the transition into winter. Autumn, yeah. I was born in Ranchi, the
Ranchi.
place of Dhoni. Like my dad was in a transferable job, so I was born there. I was there only for 6 months as a newborn, and then we moved to Maharashtra, and then to Bangalore. Yeah, to
Maharashtra,
Karnataka.
Mumbai? Did you?
Not Mumbai, a place called Bhandara, very close to Nagpur. Yeah,
Okay.
a small town. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you moved here.
Then we moved to
So
Bangalore.
your initial years were not in Bangalore.
Yes, like childhood. When I was a toddler, I was in Maharashtra, but when I was, I think 8 or 10, I was here. So
One
my
was
childhood was
to
also
Bangalore.
home.
Home.
Yes,
What is your hope for the world?
is that we all are more connected, and I think we all find our own happiness. Without hurting other people.
Name one of your favorite artists.
Like the
Who's
ones I worked with.
performed at Ekta?
Oh, there's undeniable, offering in each one. Not just artists, human being. Everybody brings something different if we are able to see it, if we are able to contain it.
Do you speak Kannada?
I can speak Kannada, yes. Nim uta aita.
ಊಟ ಆಯ್ತು.
Coffee aita.
ಕಾಫಿನೂ ಆಯ್ತು.
I like a crisp masala dosa.
ಮಸಾಲಾ
any day.
ದೋಸೆ ನನ್ಗೂ.
Nimgu? Okay,
Nangu.
let's go for a masala dosa.
Yes.
I don't want to offend the person I did this for, but just to share it, I'll not reveal the names, but once what had happened was there's a Guruji from a town who reached out to me, and he said, Ekta, I want to offer this, sadhana, like some practice to people. Apartment complex, apartment property. I and Guruji land, and there are 0 people.
Oh.
0 people. And I don't know how to handle this. I went and he was so kind. I'm actually like all my confidence, and I'm grateful for these people. They could have, like what the hell? But it was his first also, so I think he was open for anything. But to me, as a curator, as a human being, I'm like, oh my God, this should not ever make me want to do it, right? Why should I do it? Like when such a result is happening. But somehow I kept doing it. But Guruji and I, we just like, yeah, we'll wait. And then he's like, it's okay, it happens. And he just, we left. So yeah, that was one thing. It just came up in my mind when you said it. Was it bad? I wouldn't say it was bad, but it was an intensely disappointing experience, I would say. Yeah.
Where would you like to settle down?
Wow. Finland?
With whom?
I don't know.
So that's
Inshallah, I will find someone to settle in Finland. But yeah,
That's something everybody wants to know. The beautiful Ekta meets so many beautiful people. Does she believe in love? Is she waiting for love?
yeah.
Or will you find someone, or will you stay single?
No, I mean, I definitely believe in love. And one of the reasons I haven't really settled down, as they say, is because I believe that there is a love for me out there, and we'll find each other.
Please gather and keep the gatherings alive, Ekta gatherings.
Inshallah, I will, but in different ways it will happen. I foresee my gatherings to take like a different direction in a way that is going to be more, close and knit, and more not about doing it everywhere, but having a space and gathering there.
In this entire process, because money is important,
Yes,
and artists tend not to speak about it. But
it's
things
very, very important. In fact, I would say it is one of the important things to do and to be able to achieve. Because see, if people are not, getting money out of this, the collaborators I work with, why would they continue to do it? Of course, one is PR, one is networking, one is, getting your word out. Basically, a lot of people come to me now because, you know, they know there's a person, you know, who's curating, and there's a chance for their work to be showcased in some capacity, right? So people have different reasons to come. Of course, they can't thrive on it, like, you know, they can't make lakhs of rupees at once, but they do make something, and then they come back and they see value more than money. The value that's coming together is just not the opportunity of what we made in this event. It's more than that. There's value in the network that we are bringing, the value in connections, the value in the potential of what other events I could do and what sponsors I could bring. So I view it like that, and I think my artists also view it like that. That's why they continue to do. Otherwise, that makes no sense without money, for sure. It is important, but it's not everything. Yeah, it's not going to be easy to meet people generally, because we'll have 100 other things to be occupied with, distracted with. Right? That's why each one of us should make a, you know, like a special effort to do that, because it's critical to develop social skills. I feel like people don't do that often, and not just that, they don't think there's value in it. That's worrisome, because we believe that I'm living by myself, I go to work, I come back. I mean, what's the need to meet people, right? You won't believe, Malini, how many people I may have encountered saying that. I said, there is no need to meet people. Nobody is asking you to meet them, but can it help you become a better person? Yes, it may help you become a better person. But is that the only way to become a better person? No, but it is very important. It is very important to go and socialize, not because you want to catch up on what others are doing, because you need to work on that social skill. After all, we are social beings, social animals, we are losing our thing. I mean, it's not healthy for us. So the message I'd like to share with is that take a little time out, you know, to meet other people. It's fine. You don't have to come to my gatherings. There are 100 things going, but invest in it. Invest in it consciously, because that is the future. That is going to save you, have better relationships and have better self-image, joy. I think it's important, and I hope people can bring their attentions to it. That's all. Yeah. Inspiration plays a very important role. Actually, that is one of the core features. Because I'm also an artist, so I hold being inspired very closely. So when I'm inspired by music of an artist, I'm inspired to do something about it. I want to make more people hear it, for example. Or when I meet a bunch of very cool people, I want them to meet other people. So there is a sense of inspiration always involved. Like that.
So is money important?
It is important because it's going to make me survive, and help me continue to do this. If I did not make money out of this, then probably I would not be as motivated. But is that the only motivation? No. There are multiple reasons to do one thing. What artists, even a normal human being, to live a life, to survive in the world, to survive well in the world, you definitely need some inspiration, you definitely need some goal, you definitely need some ambition, but he sets it for himself. What inspires him? It's a personal journey to realize what inspires me. And for that, you need to be exposed to different things to know what you're inspired by. So I feel like it's a very personal journey for each one. And individuals and artists, both. So you're right. You're saying, your question is like, does creative process have to be so systematic, or should it be like so, like a box, of things to do and then achieve a creative process? No, I don't fully agree, because creative process differs from person to person.
And to give the stage to others.
Yes.
To build a stage for another person, it's very special.
Thank
what
you.
you do. Do your parents attend your gatherings?
My father is a scientist, and he has no interest remotely in what I do, actually. And even though if he may be interested, but he doesn't really show up, because
you don't know how liberating that is.
Is it?
It is.
To not have your family. Yeah, I mean,
when they don't take interest in what you do, it's very freeing. ये है, मैं कुछ भी कर सकती हूँ.
I agree with that. I strongly agree with that. In fact, that could be one of the reasons I'm able to do this. You're right. Actually, it's very liberating when your folks are not into what you do. That's a line for the day for me.
Yeah, she does something.
Yeah, she does something. My dad's like, she does something. She goes on weekends somewhere. She does something. So yeah, my dad has probably attended 1 or 2 shows because I dragged him into it. Not by personal choice. He's never come by himself. But yeah, I mean, I don't expect them to be interested in what I do, and I don't take it personally also. So let me start with what I know better. And I started with poetry. I wouldn't say I know better of poetry, but as a growing up, poetry was
mean
my
writing? You were writing?
Yes, as a kid, I used to write poetry, and I had some interest in it because I thought I used that as self-expression, and I had no clue about poetry also. But I said, at least I know that. So let me start with that. And I did my first gathering around Tagore's tribute. And I was like, who's going to come? And that gathering happened at a cafe, and and turns out some people did make it for that. And they were all, some of them were my own friends. And I'm like, okay, so this can work. Like, if I do something, people may come. I started with that. And then slowly.
So how long was this after your job?
I would say about 1.5 years. Yeah.
So the eureka happened because
There was no eureka, I would say. It was just a hopeless situation. I needed to come out of it because I thought, what can I do to just occupy myself, basically? And I thought I should do something that I know, which is self-expression in some ways. And I thought, let's start with that, and that's how it happened. So there's never been a eureka moment because my work unfolded itself to me over years. I didn't start out thinking I'll be doing so many things, actually.
do you think the world has changed? And how has that affected you? Do you see any changes in the audience also?
Oh, yes. I feel like this is something that we don't address often. What has happened is, since the pandemic, I have seen kind of 2-3 versions of audience, the way they receive things and the way they want things, right? So one is, before the pandemic, of course, the scene was very small, people, only interested folks would turn up. But after the pandemic, suddenly there was a need for people to go out and meet each other. So I felt that there was a boom in my work and community work in general. Lots of people going and soaking in that, vibe and just being a part of that. And then after that, there was a small period of people only attending performance-based things. And now there's a sharp change in audiences need. Now they want more intimate, more meaningful, more relaxed kind of thing, which is not in your face performances or something that they have to receive.
Not concerts.
Not concerts, yeah. So I feel like that big change is coming, and I also foresee this into 2026. I feel like I have to also work with what audience wants and not just what I think is important, right?
Do you attend events designed by others?
I wish I could as much as I want, but the problem is that weekends are my work days, and all the good stuff is happening on weekends, even at other places. So I don't end up, watching a lot of things, but I wish to. So whenever the weekdays when I get a chance, I do.
Lovely.
I do. I actually enjoy musicals a little bit, like classic. So yeah, I think music, classicals.
And in hosting, what is your favorite? What do you love to host?
Oh, I love to host everything that I do. Actually, it's very hard. Okay, there are exceptions. There's been only 10% of all my work where I've not enjoyed hosting, but I've always enjoyed hosting. I like poetry, hosting poetry a lot because, you get to meet original writers, you get to interact with them. So that was a very fun exploration for me. But after that, I've started enjoying doing open tables a lot these days. A no agenda meetup. I'm enjoying them a lot these days. Yeah.
Open tables.
Yes.
Conversations.
Yes, conversations.
Conversations will flow.
Space for people to meet other people. Like now in Bangalore, like a city like Bangalore, where is an opportunity to meet 10 people at once and have a chance to make friends with them, have a chance to share your ideas with them, and have also a chance to maybe not like them. What I was doing, lots of people are doing, right? And I don't see that as competition because I know what I bring. I know my audience. I know people will come back, if they liked it. So I'm confident. I've gained that confidence over years. But do I worry about the overwhelm? Yes, I do. And I feel like it will affect my work also, because when there's one gathering Ekta is doing, there are 100 people doing 100 gatherings, and they have 100 ways of going, at it. But I feel also at one point people will not want to go. Therefore, we need to change about how to bring communities together. It can't be the same thing I was doing 3 years ago or 5 years ago. I have to bring about a change. Not just renew things, understand what the need is, and build around it. Yeah. So it is ever changing. A lot more people are performing now. They believe that they can independently curate a lot more. Against what I experienced when I started out. People were like, I'm not sure if I can do this, but now people's confidence has increased because there's a lot more space to, experiment. And I'd like to thank Malini for this wonderful space that she has created. And I've known her for a while, and I've seen her process of being curious about the individual and also the creative process as it is. So I want